Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Eliel. In this incarnation, we have the moon today ending its passage through Virgo. Tomorrow, July 28, it is going to enter in Libra. And it did a conjunction today with the South Node. This point was activated recently by Mars, that in fact, in mathematical degrees, it is very close, still very close. So we are revealing, or it's being revealed for us, habits and spaces, forms of service that are not aligned with our path, or with the path of the soul, that the soul wants to do to grow. Could be also, the excess of focus in what is lacking, the criticism towards oneself or towards other people, ideals of perfectionism. So the things that we have been transiting from July 17th, until this point, they are very linked with what we are going to transit in eclipses, all related to what I've just mentioned. To know exactly which area of our lives this is going to impact, we have to know in which house or houses we have Virgo, of course. Eclipses seem to be far away, but actually we have the full moon in Aquarius the next week, and the next event, which is the new moon in Virgo, begins the eclipses season. So both of these lunations have also a lot of energy of movement for different factors that I'm not going to anticipate right now. So it is important to take advantage of the periods of introspection with the retrograde planets like this one. But as I was saying, next week we are going to have more dynamic activations. And meanwhile, the retrogradation of Chiron, we're feeling Chiron a lot. This could put in evidence experiences that are causing us pain, that could make us feel that we are separated from the others, separated from love. Many times the Chironian experience is expressed through the sensation of incapacity. I was saying this yesterday, or in fears that are making us feel that we are the only ones that we are transiting what we are transiting. And that's why the sextile of today with Venus in Gemini could be something good, to open to others, to open ourselves, to show those vulnerable parts to other people. With which we are feeling, a safe space, or even, to look up for information, testimonies of people that, they accomplished, or they turn their difficulties in a gift that could have helped themselves and other people too, because that reminds us that wound of separation that we experiment, when we are incarnating in this denser plane of the matter, we all possess that wound, but it is the consciousness, the means where we are returning to unity. It is the light that we can extract from circumstances, the one that can disintegrate the barriers that are pushing us away from love. And I think it is also important to, separate the emotion. I am talking about, if there is discomfort, anger, sadness, the sensation of injustice too, that is very usual with Karen. To make a space to those emotions and to see what they are communicating to us. It is not the same than feeding them from pity to oneself, but I think it is important. Compassion with experiences that we have lived before, and that left the scars. In the symbol of Chiron. And also, these transits, the moment that Chiron is becoming retrograde, it could be a moment where we are noticing which aspects we need to reequilibrate and to rebalance. So yesterday, I was also saying that there is a tendency that, situations can come to touch that particular point, and we can feel very reactive because of that. So the invitation is to be able to take a pause before saying something, doing something, and to evaluate from which place we are doing that. Because even if people could have, these imbalanced impulses, wanting to force others to that recognition, even when they are not able to do that, or trying to do these things, are putting us in this place of a lack of boundaries or lack of self-care. And in other cases, of course, there is going to be a chance of opening that conversation from a healthy space. It is also important to do this registration, because this energy projected also responds to make very personal actions or words from other people that are not being directed with the intention of hurting. But if still they are activating pain, they are going to remain as to something that we have experimented before. So we have the opportunity to look at that discomfort and to integrate it. On the other side, Venus is still in Gemini. It is in Cancer, where it perfects the squares with Saturn retrograde and Neptune retrograde in Aries. But in mathematical degrees, we are already feeling this. So many people could be in this, feeling in certain areas of life, relationships, resources, desires of the soul, this restriction, that something is limited, or we are dealing with an obstacle, and the longing Neptune of being in other state that that responds to the ideal, or a situation that can save us from that experience. So I think it is important to have in account that not necessarily situations are that limitant as we are perceiving them. In some cases, of course, there are many challenges. But what I'm trying to say, it is that the tensions with Saturn could invoke this perception with more strength, just for us to be aware that that perception is in us. And a square is a tension that invites us to resolve a conflict or a discomfort through an active participation in our experience. Therefore, there is a challenge, but also a lesson that could open a wonderful door, because if we are willing to develop maturity, to not run away from our responsibilities or the boundaries or the decisions. I am saying this because Venus, in a few days, is going to have an encounter with Jupiter in Cancer, which is a transit that we could contact with opportunities and presence even. But we have to generate the field, the affinity of form, the resonance, so we can allow these movements and situations that are more expansive to enter. So this is about opening ourselves, that life, it is not only challenges, but also that life could bring the good fruits. In fact, Saturn responds to both of them, both the challenges and good fruits, because what indicates to us, it is that in this plane, the good fruits require patience and learnings, lessons of boundaries, with the boundaries that life puts us, the limits that life puts us, and the ones that we have to establish. So if these days are turning, especially when we are coming close to the day of the squares, which is at the end of the week, if it turns challenging to look at life with confidence in the process, something that also helps, it is to focus in another thing. If you are in contact with your purposes, then that makes things much easier. But could be certain activities, movement, creative forms that allow us to to move out from the pessimism spiral. Activities that you can feel that are actually contributing, because Neptune in shadow could also be, these things that we do as an escapism of reality. And also with Saturn, it is important to observe not falling in the excessive self-exigencies. But, focusing in other thing when we are, not finding the way out, it is something that could help a lot to feel that we are actually moving forward. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.